Taxed, traded, or offset, carbon is emerging as one of the major drivers of energy diplomacy and industrial competitiveness in the 21st century. This disruptive gas weighs heavily on the cost of steel, shapes investment choices in cement plants, and either accelerates or slows down the transformation of energy systems. Just a few euros of fluctuation in the price of a ton of CO2 can trigger billions of euros in financial flows, waves of relocations, or stock market upheavals. The European Union, for example, is watching its carbon border adjustment mechanism reshape global supply chains. China, by expanding its carbon market to steel and cement, is directly influencing the competitiveness of its exports. The United States, more fragmented, still hesitates to harmonize its instruments. What distinguishes the current period is the fragmentation of rules and mechanisms. There are 38 emissions trading systems, ETS, in force worldwide, with about 20 more under consideration or in development. In this context, the EU is advancing with its ETS and CBAM, while other regions favor carbon taxes or voluntary credits. Energy corridors are turning into diplomatic fronts, negotiated cargo by cargo, product by product. Carbon credits, once peripheral, are now at the heart of a battle over standards and legitimacy. Nature-based solutions, direct air capture and storage, or cross-border offsets. Trust in their quality alone can overturn national strategies. This regulatory dependence makes economies vulnerable to political decisions. Exporting countries in the global south, from the Maghreb to sub-Saharan Africa, fear the impact of CBAM on their emerging industries. The major blocs, Europe, China, and the United States, are using their regulatory power as a tool of influence through bilateral agreements and climate barriers. According to the World Bank, by 2025, nearly 28% of global emissions are covered by a carbon price, compared to less than 5% 15 years ago, a discrete but decisive shift. In the EU, the price of a ton of CO2 has exceeded 70 euros on average, while China still maintains much lower levels, around 10 euros. Today, volatility is rising, fueled by geopolitical tensions and climate uncertainties. A recession or an energy shock can cause quota prices to collapse. Regulatory tightening or an extreme heat wave can send them soaring. For industries as well as states, the carbon market has become a field where economic stability is at stake. In this race for carbon, new territories are emerging as strategic cards. Africa, with its potential for credits linked to forests and arable land, is attracting capital and global interest. Morocco, committed to a green economy strategy, seeks to leverage international offset mechanisms to finance its energy transition. Brazil and Indonesia are capitalizing on their forests, sources of coveted but contested carbon credits, while Gulf countries are betting on industrial carbon capture and storage to preserve their oil rents. The global battle over carbon reveals a profound transformation. 21st century powers are no longer measured solely by their hydrocarbon reserves or military capacities, but also by their ability to tax, trade, store, or offset CO2. In this discrete yet decisive arena, carbon sovereignty is becoming a weapon of strategic projection, and carbon itself, the invisible currency of a world in flux.